And good morning from beautiful, beautiful Waynesville, North Carolina. Uh, Welcome to the Jonathan Crompton Show. I'm David. Good morning, Chuck.
Good morning.
How are you in Winston Salem?
Well, I'm fine. It's beautiful here. Sun's starting to rise, and I'm happy to see coffee in his hand, and he's bright eyed and bushy tail after getting out 3:30.
It's a long night, I guess. But anyway, welcome, Jonathan. Good morning. I still can't, everybody calls you coach, which is still weird to me, but you're just still my son. So good morning, son. Uh, just kind of we're going to talk a whole lot of football this morning. Jonathan is playing hurt. He's on the injured list. Running around out there last night with his shorts and no long sleeve shirt.
I just have a sore throat. Ain't nothing bad.
He's struggling through this morning. Just kind of want to take care of some business part, and then we got a lot of football and a lot of kids to talk about today. So I don't want to forget our sponsors, Orchard Coffee. Thank you guys. We're not going anywhere. And Orchard Coffee is in with us for the long haul. Sutton and Sons Antiques. Man, those guys. Something else. Ryan was out there running around in his shorts last night, and I heard, during the games, I try not to talk a whole lot because sometimes, stuff just comes out during the games. It probably with
Tell
my
me about it.
it shouldn't, but I didn't. But I would see it, and I shook my head, and I heard him telling somebody, I thought it was going to be a little bit warmer, but he toughed it out last night. Our friends at Sutton and Sons, and here at Crompton's Auto Mart. And I do want to say this to everybody that's watching. To put this together is a labor of love. When Jonathan got the job, literally, when he came back down here that day, one of the first things he said was, "We have to do this. This is not about me, but we're going to promote this program. We're going to promote our kids, and we're going to get the word out about Tuscola football. And I want you to do this, and you and Chuck." And I said, "I don't know." And he said, "Well, too bad. That's going to happen."
Sounds about right.
And when I say that, all three of the people that are sponsoring this show, and our local hardworking businesses. We're not franchise dealers. We're not franchise people. We are folks that are trying to live the American dream. So, is it selfish for me to say, "Come see us"? When we first started this year, I was almost embarrassed to keep talking about what we did. But come see me. Go see Ryan. Go see our friends up at Orchard Coffee, because we work really hard, and we are not supported by anyone but our sweat equity, and we appreciate it, and we want to be here next year. And these are tough times, so please come see us now. Uh, Before we get into the ball game, and Chuck, how big's your cup this morning?
It's they call it the Seattle coffee. Look at that. That's 24 ounces. That's a big boy. Yeah, that's a little boy cup.
That's 2 cups.
But I got 2 cups.
Oh, you got two. Okay.
It's actually number 3.
But man, did the mountain did the folks from Waynesville, Tuscola, that represent this right here, did we not travel well last night? Thank you. It was amazing to see. That it was just amazing to see everybody out there, and I know they did. Hey, look, they did a good job, but we had more people on our side of the stands than they had at the home stadium, and thank you so much for everybody that took the time to go down the mountain for 2 hours, depending on which way you went. And so, anyway, here we go.
Well, hold on. We're getting better. Here's the thing. Coffee's kicking in. Bottom line, I'm hoarse because you know what? I'll never not defend our players. When they're not listening to me, by God, I scream. It is what it is. When I'm not our players, when the referees are not listening to me and I'm trying to get something across, you get this on Saturday morning. You're there with me. I don't feel bad. I'm just hoarse. There's nothing I can do about it.
So last night, it was Chuck. It's a microcosm of our season, and those are the things that as the program builds. Getting off the field on 3rd and 4th downs hurt us again last night, but that's part of the growth, I believe. Once the offense started clicking, it was it was literally a thing of beauty to see. But the thing that I love about this group and your coaching staff is it's no us and them. It's a we thing, and everybody's out there for that T. Again, a hell of a football game, and those kids, your kids, man, they could have packed it in early, and my God, my God. My God.
No,
So I'm gonna
here's the bottom line.
I'll let you and Chuck talk for a little bit.
I'll break it down. What's that? The funny YouTuber, something Murphy, the guy always talk about hitting home runs, hitting dingers. He goes, let's break this down from a fundamental standpoint.
Oh yeah, that's our guy, Chuck. Diego.
So when you get the ball and you start out, and next thing you know, it's 2-0. You go, oh crap, okay, they're out of game plan. We knew they were going to go. They had been a single high free safety team all year. Not dumb. When you play a team like us, they're going to go 2 safeties. Cool, we're playing for it. But they're allowed to make plays too. They made a play off the edge of defensive end. We're down 2-0. Not much we can do about that at that point. Next thing you know, it's 9-0. You go, okay. In the sense of, we knew they couldn't stop what we do offensively. And that is not a cocky or arrogant thing. That is the reality of what they do and what we do. They played a great game.
Yeah, kudos.
We did not. But when we buckled down and did what we were supposed to do, then you saw the mismatches. You saw that their guys in space go, oh, you can't cover our guys in space. But we started behind the 8 ball. Any other team, when it is 16-0, that early, would have packed it in. I'm just calling it like it is. Would have said, dang, we're the 24 seed, they're the 9 seed. We're on the road. It's already 16-0. We're good. That's not what our kids do. Okay, so we battle back 16-8. All right. Cool. 1-score ball game. They score again. Oh, okay. Right. I don't know. But to me, the definition of our team with the competitiveness, the grittiness, the want and the love for their teammates. When you're down 21 points and you know you shouldn't be, right? Just from a pure, when you watch the game, you go, you're not down 21. You're not down 3 scores. When you're down, when you're down 3 scores with 7 minutes to go, and I'm trying to strategically use our timeouts or like not use them. Except if I'm not mistaken, it was 21 with like roughly 5.5 to go.
Yes.
All right, we score. Cool. Don't get the onside kick. We had a chance at it. Phenomenal kick by Christopher Wells, by the way.
He's really good at that.
We don't get it. Okay, try to use our timeouts. 3rd down. We get a fumble. Nice. Oh, by the way, in case you're wondering, 3 plays later, we're only down 7. Okay. And they were running the clock. We score with 59 seconds to go. Get an onside kick. By the way, we scored 30 seconds later. That is who our team is. That's who these players are. Any other team would have packed it in the first quarter. They didn't quit. Right? The hard part for our defense last night is we could score so quick. They were on the field a lot. That's not ideal. Let's call that like it is. When you're facing triple option and you're on the field for 6 straight minutes, you get off the field and your offense scores in a minute, and you go, that's great for the team, but individually, that's tough. Guys never quit. Our D line getting cut every play. That sucks.
Yeah, that's something I want to talk about.
But they did not quit on it. So we can go quarter by quarter if you want. Yes, this one's going to be hard to swallow for me personally. Because point blank at the end of the game, like we talked about earlier in the year, and you always disagree with me. I'm a high risk, high reward guy, and I talked myself out of going for 2 for the win. We were better. It's plain and simple. Score didn't say it. Kudos. Bottom line is, I should have went for 2. I should have made the call. I'm the head coach and said, go for 2, go for the win, because when you score 3 times in less than 5 minutes, they're on the ropes. So that's completely my fault. 110%. The thing that I'll never forget is the look from KJ Vang when I asked, do we do it? And he holds up his fingers and goes, Coach, go for 2. We got it. And I didn't do it. That's what's going to haunt me, because personally, I let our kids down for not going with my gut because we were better in the moment. It's plain and simple. So how they battled, that was, I said, any other team would have packed that in the first quarter. Everybody knows that. You're down 16-0 like that from a safety and 2 touchdowns. And one of the touchdowns being a 4th and 24 fluke play, that type of stuff. You're going, dang, what are we going to do? We didn't pack it in. We dug deep and we fought. So that's what was the positive side of not winning a game. It's no moral victory. That's not what I'm getting at. But like I told the seniors, they've set a foundation for where we're going in the future.
That's impressive. Very impressive. I've spent more than 3 decades in North Carolina high school football, covering it, coaching it. And I can tell you it is all too familiar every single year in playoff football that teams get down like that and they pack it in. It is a common trait amongst high school teams when there's a point in the game when they look at that opponent, they're down 16-0 or 21-0, and we can't beat them, or we can't score, and they're ahead by 3 touchdowns. And then that's how you get so many blowouts in these games, because the players have packed it in. And I've always said this before, that every single high school football player has a white flag of surrender in their pocket. And in playoff football, all too many of them bring out that white flag of surrender and hand it over to the opponent. And in their final game, they gave up their white flag of surrender. And last night, I thought from a distance, looking on computers, that you all were about ready to pack it in. But then suddenly there was this, watching scores, is that, wait a minute, they're keep coming back. Mm-hmm. And what you did, Jonathan, tells you your team refused to give up their white flag of surrender. Which me and your fans, that you are building something not just special, but you're at the door that says elite on it. And you're building something because you got character in your kids. So I congratulate you. Lost 41-40. You should have made a call. That's your opinion. But we wouldn't be talking about this if it's if the field or the PAT was good and you went into overtime. Maybe you would have lost in overtime. Doesn't matter. There have been a couple plays during the game we could say that, but your kids didn't quit.
No,
And that to
they
me,
did not.
that to me, for the 29 kids returning, that is something special. But for the 14 kids that are no longer going to play for Tuscola, they walked out with their white flag of surrender. They didn't give it up.
They did not. No, you're right on that. That is for sure.
Absolutely. How do you say this? Uh, nah, I can't. But man, those kids and your parents.
Mm-hmm.
After the game last night, Chuck, we laugh all the time, and I know everybody gives me a hard time. In our group, and that we've been together since 2000, basically since 2004. I am a softie at heart, but just kind of watching last night after the game, kind of just standing back a little bit for a few minutes and watching the seniors, parents, watching the young bucks go up to the seniors and thanking them was really special, because there for a second you went, oh my God, we here we are. And then sports athletics is hard, and when it ends quickly, and it's harsh, and it's brutal, and it stinks, but that's life lessons, and that's part of what you do. And for the youngsters that are coming back, I think that this is a building process. You got some young bucks coming from the middle school that are going to be good. You got some young bucks on that JV team that are going to be good. But man, you got some young bucks that played Friday night football this year, especially on the defensive side of the ball, that were just puppies. Puppies. I mean, a couple of them were playing middle school football last year.
Our starting free safety, and I'm not being funny, is 14 years old.
Yep.
I always joke with him like I'm not being funny. Let that sink in.
He can't drive.
No. And hey,
no, he can't drive next year either.
No, and hey, by God, he grew up. Not last night, but
as the
season went on, he grew up. And I remember, it's kind of funny how quick things go. We're eating lunch as a coaching staff in between like summer workouts. And I went, the Chambers, you got to appease me on this one real quick. And he goes, oh God, what? And I went, well, we're going to try Ty Walker at safety. We're going to see how this works. I like him. He just kind of gave me that look of like, he's like, I always joke with Ty, like, you're 11, like being funny because his number's 11. And he goes, oh, okay. Said he's going to earn it, but that's probably going to be your free safety this year. And he was like, oh, okay. What he's done from the summer until now, just wait until that kid's a senior. I mean, he is, because it's the reason why he played varsity football at 14 years old. And I'm not being funny when I say 14, like he grew up in the way that he's got a fearless attitude of coming downhill and covering triple option for the pitch. He almost picked one off and housed it last night. He, in age-wise, he should be playing middle school football. And he's playing Friday nights in a playoff game and showing up. There's always going to be plays back in the year, or plays in the year we want back. That's every player, every coach. For a kid like that there's There's something to be
because
proud of for the future
because
when you don't even have your permit yet.
and
That's positive.
And we're going to spend the last half of this show talking just about these seniors, okay? Because they're near and dear.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking for the future, and I look at Amos Rich that you had to throw out there in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, Amos hasn't played defense until 3 weeks ago.
He sure does now.
So everybody stepped up in a positive way.
Yeah, I look at Bridger, Cooper.
Well, but like Bridger, for instance, halftime is halftime. We'll just say it that way. Every week. But as you can tell, I'm hoarse. Go into the bathroom to try to clear my throat, like blow my, like just clear out. And Bridger comes in and goes, Coach, whatever you need, I don't care. I don't want to come out. Whatever you need me to do, you just tell me to do and I'll do it. Wherever it's at. Because that's what our team is. I mean, honestly, I know, hey, we didn't win. But you tell me any other team that keeps coming back when you keep getting hit in the face on the road, that keeps going, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Because they believe I live by it. The 8-second rule. There's nothing you can do about it. It's over. 8 seconds. Let's move on. In the game, move on. Last night was the definition of that.
Yep. And I go back and like Jonas, Jonas didn't get a lot of targets, and then he had a good kickoff return, and then at the end of the game, man, just played. Man, he was a man.
He was a mismatch on their linebacker.
He was a man, and I can't wait to see with Gavin. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see with Gavin.
Well, running back room is going to be. We get Cooper and Gavin back. That's a positive next year.
And just you go down the list. Ty, and Brandon. Brandon's going to be, he's twitchy.
Yeah, but guys, Brandon hadn't played football really until this year, and he's a starting corner. Once again, says a lot about the kid.
Christopher, let me tell you, guys, those onside kicks last night. First of all, when
we almost got 2 of them,
and when he kicked, he was angry and kicked the ball through the end zone. He was really angry. It was some kind of referee thing that happened there, and he was angry, and he rode back, not the snot out of it, but his onside kicks were phenomenal. The effort for those kids was phenomenal. Bo's going to be back. Looking forward to seeing him get in the weight room, go through that program every single day. Being a quarterback for you is different because you're going to be repetitive every single day. You're going to do it, and you're going to do it, and you're going to do it.
Because the offseason starts Monday.
Yep. Jeremy, I'm just kind of going down this
right
just real quick. Isaiah,
Can I interject here?
Yeah. I need you to.
Yeah, okay. I have I was doing some homework for the show this morning, and here's 15 juniors, 10 sophomores, 4 freshmen, 29 in all, that are returning next year for the Mountaineers that have Friday night experience. And you add on those kids that you really love on the junior varsity level, and maybe some more kids that
the linebacker.
That you recruit all out walking the halls. All right. But you have 29 kids.
Well, and as y'all seen, if you come in as eighth graders, get ready.
Right.
You come in as a freshman. We're not afraid to play freshmen on Friday nights.
Right. That's what I'm saying, is that you got kids that we're not right here off of this current roster that are going to return, and all those talented kids that you get to develop, next year are going to return. That speaks volumes to what you've accomplished this year. But I do, so this is a talented underclassmen group. And as David said, we'll get into the seniors, all the 14 seniors. But I got to thinking about this, and this happens every single year. 256 teams in 4 classifications play in the playoffs, and 252 of them end their season with a loss. Only 4 end their season with a win. So, it's tough to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And, the emotion that your seniors saw, that you should tell the kids to watch and view and talk about, because they no longer get to have that, the next time they come into Weatherby, they'll be sitting in the stands.
Yeah. Well, guys, let's just put it in perspective. All right. Losing nail biter week 1. Right? Week 2 and 3, cool. Week 4, losing nail biter. Go to Franklin and play North Henderson. We start 0-2 in conference. At that point, and I'm not an idiot. Like I told our guys last night, I'm grown. I hear things. Everybody does. Hear the mumblings. Oh, well, I don't know, blah, 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 right? At what point did anybody think that the Tuscola Mountaineers would be where we're at with 29 seconds to go, have a chance to win a game that we should have won, beat Pisgah, right? When we start 0-2 in conference, and beat the ever-living dog piss out of your county rival, right? Let's just call it like it is. At 2-4, everybody's like, ooh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Well, not the kids in that locker room. Not the coaches in that locker room. Not anybody in the administration at that school. That's the fun part that we're building.
Yep.
And that's the bottom line. We talked about that last night, guys. When we were 0-2 in conference, nobody gave us a chance to do what we did with the run we made, because we finally got healthy with some injuries that were lingering from the beginning of the year, right? And to host the rival game and to do what we did there, go on the road the next week, which is the easiest hangover game, right? Well, we didn't have it. Did what we did there. Right? Those things are what's good for us to be able to build on, because we don't quit. We look adversity in the face. Hence last night. It was a battle.
And let me do this so I can get the words out of my mouth, and I'm gonna let you talk. Cannon, my man Cannon, and Chuck's man Cannon Gentry. Man, I love that kid. Yeah. Everything about him, I love.
Yeah, I mean, he played well, but legally, you're not allowed to hit the long snapper. So until the referees start doing their jobs, and you can get mad at me all you want.
I'm not.
No. I'm talking about, because I talk about it every week. Until the state does what they're supposed to do, and they do their job in that sense, they call it a fair game overall, except for you cannot bull rush on PATs the snapper. You can't. It's illegal. It is in the handbook. So why do you think at that point he's a little jittery? That's not his fault.
No.
So no. What I'm saying is like that those things are going to happen until the referees protect the players.
Eli,
I do have something to say on this Cannon situation. Yes, Cannon Gentry is my man. He's still
just a little bit.
He still is my man. Cannon.
I bet you he is.
You're watching. You're still my man. 10 times a day, every single day in the off season, you long snap, because by the time, if you do
10.
every single, I'm minimum 10.
Have you seen who his coach is?
Single day. By the time the next season starts, Cannon, you will be a master long snapper. You're still my man.
We love him.
He'll be doing more than 10. And no. What I'm saying, no, because he wants to.
Right.
He's already talked about, Coach, I'm gonna go to camps this summer. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna he's found his niche. By God, he's gonna be good at it.
And I love his mama, and Janet and her and I were standing there last night, and that was a special moment. Walker Bolden, my man Walker, he's not afraid of much. I think I'd like to get in a foxhole with Walker.
Yeah.
August and Bryson and Carter and Dustin, Avery, Carter. I'm just going down the list real quick. David and Ian. Did I pronounce that right? Jesse Bledsoe, Jackson, Zach, Bryce, and Alex. And hey, leave me a message. We'll call you back. We'll just call back. So it's, I guess, the part that you kind of dread is right now. Somebody when you were down here, Jonathan, you're the one who set the rings on how many rings before it answered. I blame Jonathan for that. That's his fault.
We have a saying in house: starts at the top, baby. That's your show.
So let's talk seniors, because again, I really believe that, just from watching from the outside and being a little bit on the inside, because I know what my role is just to, bring you your peanut butter sandwiches on Saturdays and on Fridays, and just kind of just sit back and watch. But number one, Griffin Wilson, senior. Jed West. And I'm going to try to, I know what Jed went through because we went through, and what his family and the way they handled the Smokey situation that day. Man.
I'd like to hear something about Griffin Wilson. Tell us, Jonathan, about Griffin Wilson.
Well, are we doing this for everybody?
Yes.
Yeah. We don't have the time. I'm not being fun. We don't have time to go where I talk about every individual one because it'd take too long. But Griffin showed up every day, never complained. Worked his butt off. Excuse me. Worked his butt off. Ended up helping us tremendously on special teams. And gave us a great look day in, day out at practice. And like I said, it's just every player is going to be hard to talk about at this moment because it's been 12 hours.
Yeah. And then
roughly.
And Jed.
Mm-hmm.
Just a brief synopsis. I know, but
I don't know what you can't say any. All you got to do is say Jed. Their coaches came up and said you're the best player played all year.
Johnson,
that's all you got to say.
Will you indulge me? We've talked a lot about these kids throughout the year, but there's things on the senior group that we haven't. Like I don't know who Jeb Gardner is. Tell me about Jeb.
Yeah, we'll go down the list. I'm going down, and we'll get there because Hudson Blackburn, man, he almost made me cry last night again after the game.
He was the quarterback of the defense. If he's not out there and we don't line up correctly, he's that guy. He's the reason why he's where he's at as far as academically in his class. Understanding what we want to do fundamentally and schematically, and he gets everybody lined up, and he's hard to keep off the field.
And going to miss him.
Mm-hmm.
Bryant, Oncia.
Oncia, we talked about
Oncia. Man, just wow. To be in a run offense his whole life, and to see him and KJ.
Yeah, they
wow, Chuck, KJ and Bryant,
both of them. Not just last night, but their whole career. Buying into what we do offensively this year. Just KJ being my guy to make sure everybody's okay with. Hey, remember that? We got this. It says or relaying it down. And we're not in that ball game last night if it ain't for KJ. That's for sure. He made some plays to keep us on the field. He's hard to cover regardless, just as far as his route running ability. But both of them last night and all year played tremendous. It's hard to talk about him on the spot like this because, like I said, we're not going to have enough time.
And I met his family last night, KJ's family. They sat beside us up there, Chuck. Every play. They lived and died with every single play, and I can relate to that with KJ's and then, with Bryant and his folks. Jed Garner, man, got injured the week before.
He got injured against East Henderson, but he came up big this year. Jeb's big thing was, quote unquote, in my words, not knowing where you fit in on defense from a position standpoint. And the thing that I love the most is Jeb said, Coach, can we just sit down and talk? Yeah, come on, man. My office is open. And just poured his heart out about, I just want to be able to be productive and contribute my senior year if possible. I said, all right, well, if you trust what I'll do on Monday, you'll see. And this was before week 1. And we'll go with it for a few days. And next thing you know, it was hard to keep him off the field because he bought into what we do. And it just, I really hated to see him get hurt the week before Pisgah's senior year. But then talk about all-time personality. I mean, just life of the party, never down. Got injured and made sure he put off his surgery until after the season so he could be there for his guys throughout the playoffs. So that, just unreal human. And if he lives and dies black and gold.
Yes. Another one of Chuck's guys, Saeed, the man Jackson.
Saeed is, he's all-time MVP of all the things. He's one of the most athletic kids on the team. Always going to be one of the most athletic guys on the team. Plays his gut out, plays his heart out every play. Went from being a hand in the ground defensive end to a stand-up outside linebacker. So that's hard in 1 year, and played tremendously well.
Jesus Gonzalez.
Yeah, Zeus was a big special teams player.
Number 20. Yes, he was.
Huge special teams player for us. Pretty much playing all of them. Helped us gain field position on offense and or help keep them backed up on kickoff. Tremendous in during practice for us each week. So he just Jesus is my guy.
Stephen Brooks.
Well, I'm just gonna do all the linemen together.
Okay. Stephen Brooks. And again, sometimes I don't pronounce things well and you get mad at me and then Chuck laughs at me. And we got Stephen Brooks, we got Brian Michua. Why do I always want to put an R in there? Jackson Sutton. And Jackson, he hurt me the week before. Mm-hmm. Last week, he hugged me, and it was hilarious. Janet said, "You stink." When I got in the truck last night, she said, "You smell." And I said, "That's a good smell." And Odie, wow. And Josh Kruger.
Yeah.
That's the senior group.
Did you get Charlie Green?
Oh, yeah, no, Charlie's in there. It wasn't.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Charlie.
Just all the linemen in general, going from the offense they were in to what we do zone wise, protection wise in the pass game, it was hard to talk about them in that sense. But seeing where we started to where we ended up, being able to do things offensively, and then a few of them end up having to go both ways near the end of the season because of injury or banged up. They end up being one of the heart and soul groups of the team, which they should be each year. But just that's going to hurt replacing those guys, right? Football wise, but more so just locker room guys. They were some of the most fun ones to be around and coach. Say it that
way. It was a special group that, again, and we have talked about on here before. They went through a lot in their careers up on the hill, from the pre-COVID to the COVID to the spring season to the uncertainty for from the end of last year until the time you came, and then you show up and say, "Hey, we're going to do this." And I know that we've talked about it before as a group with them, and you went through this in college. Not everybody was going to buy in. These kids bought in. The seniors bought in, and what a special group. And I don't know. I see and know who their parents are. I really don't know them well, but you had a really great group of parents, and I must say that Josh Kruger's last night, Chuck, after the ball game, all the stuff is happening with the seniors. There's tears, there's laughing, there's pictures. Then they're out on the football field, and I know those people. And thank you to the people up there for letting our kids and you all stay out there, because I know they wanted to get home. It was cold, but I turned around and Josh's mom and dad, and Josh's mom looked at her husband and goes, "Are the pizzas here? Because they need to be on time, because I've got a spreadsheet that I've got to make sure everything is ready for these kids." And I thought that was pretty impressive in the middle of all that emotion, that she's still thinking about more than just Josh. She was thinking about the totality of everybody in that program. And you really, for that, you lucked into some really good stuff.
Yep. No, just our parents in general, but especially what, you consider your team moms. Couldn't have asked for a better group. Miss Kruger, Miss Blackburn, Miss Gardner, Miss Brooks, just being kind of like the liaisons for me. That was made my life a lot easier this year. We'll say it that way.
And, one of the things, Chuck, that you and I had many, many discussions prior to the season. And we were talking about who do you surround yourself with? Talking about the coach, who do you surround yourself with in that foxhole every single day? And I initially thought, and this is the truth, I thought that you were kind of in a tough spot. That was and because it's not like you can go out here and just go, "Hey, I want everybody I want." Your staff, from I don't know prior to Asheville High, but from Asheville High to last night, to see the growth, to see the togetherness, to see the camaraderie, was phenomenal. And again, I pay attention to the little things that sometimes I don't watch the play, but I watch how you guys are reacting before, during, and after a play. Derek Bradshaw, Mr. Pizza, Austin, Leander, Houston, Branson. Branson Reese is whatever the T is Branson.
Yep.
That T, whatever that is, and to each person, it might be different. But when you talk about people that literally, and I'm not exaggerating here, that T means, it means more than just the word Tuscola. Is Branson Reese, Zach Shepard. Now, I've known Zach since he was when we moved out here, and his family, and what a phenomenal family. And Zach, your relationship with him, because of the way that you've set the staff up, had to be pretty special. And Austin Sluter, I have to, I'm very partial to Austin because of his mom and his dad and his uncle, the Sluters, and kudos to your staff. And I'm Chuck. I'll throw it to you a little bit and talk about the all that there.
Well, I mean, Johnson was very successful in this season, and he did surround him with great coaches. I'd just like to know what, from Jonathan's standpoint, the assessment of the season overall. Talk about where you started and where you finished, and what does that mean to you?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, like I said a minute ago, when you start out, uh, 2-2 and non-conference, and um, you know that you have a chance in all of them. I guess that's kind of the hard part. Year one, trying to teach and get over the hump of learning how to win close ball games, coaching wise, player wise. You got to, once you get over the hump, it makes things a little easier on you. It's never easy in this game. But I mean, it was not the season we wanted, not the season that we would have predicted preseason. But I mean, I'm extremely proud of the players for buying into what we do. I mean, like I said, if you see what we do offensively versus what any other team around does when it comes to verbiage, comes to schematics itself, I mean, it's not a high school style system. It's not. It is a professional style system when it comes to verbiage itself, schematics, the length of the play call, and also we're signaling all that in at once. So there are some times that the play call is 10, 11 words that they're all looking at a signal to get, and it's not just holding up a board. So to me, this season, as we progressed, you could see from, like, coaching wise, we could see from week one till last night how much more we could do and quote unquote add in the middle of the game, like the touchdown to Bridger Jones. We had the play, but we didn't have the play with that motion and into the boundary and out of that formation. Drew it up on the sideline because I knew they could understand it, signaled it in. Everybody's like, all right, cool, I know my job. So it was a positive in that sense. Just understanding when we motion certain motions, what position they end up in. So that tells you the quote unquote route concept. It's not the same thing every time. Like when it comes to, if we line up in this formation, it's this, it's this. Well, we don't do it that way because they're learning football. So that's where it's positive, because their understanding of the game grew each week. And I like to ask them a lot of questions to make sure they're understanding it. And you can see it getting quicker each week. Unfortunately, we just don't have, you can't get COVID years for seniors like NCAA.
When did it click for your team? What point in the season did it click? The light turned on, and you saw it. You said, "Okay, we have turned the corner."
Pisgah.
Wow. Okay.
And then just from a football standpoint, that was the first time we had put 4 quarters together and we were healthy. But you could see it in practice coming, but in a game, that was the moment that it clicked. They're like, oh, yeah, we are pretty good.
Because for me, Chuck, just from watching from the outside, was the first up until maybe Pisgah, and I kind of take the Franklin thing and put it in a box itself because we didn't have our kids. But it is what it is. You got to win, you got to lose. But earlier, as the year was started, we're snapping the ball with 1 or 2 seconds left on the play clock, and every play I'm dying up there and going, come on, I know you.
But here's the thing: from the outside, from people looking on the outside, there's a lot of people. They don't know what I'm doing down there. I do things on purpose.
Yep.
No, I know. So certain times I'm slowing the game down.
But as a whole, I'm just saying that as from Pisgah on, you could see the difference as far as Jed had the play call and had everybody where they needed to be. And then if he made the changes that you allowed him to make, we were still snapping the ball earlier than when you wanted,
Well, no, like I said,
So
that was a week-to-week thing. And also it's the fact of, if I know we can score quick on a team, our defense was on the field for so long, I've got to slow it down to give them a break. Right. So and that's where everything in a game, that's where we do a good job as a staff communicating. We can prepare all day long, but you cannot prepare for the game itself in the moment because there's 100,000 different scenarios that come up. As far as, was there a 14 play drive that we built our neck and gave up a field goal, but they're gassed because they ran it 13 times on offense? Okay, well, we know that they're playing cover 4 and we just got a big chunk play 1. Yeah, I want to score in 2 plays, but does that help our defense?
Jonathan,
Certain times, like last night it is what it is. We got to score now. Certain times, though, I'm going to try to hold it back and go, we're going to go no huddle. Obviously, that's what we do. And then we're going to snap it late, or we're going to snap it quick. Or a couple weeks ago, hey, let's just go ahead and huddle up. Right? When is the last time anybody's seen us huddle? Right? But certain times, game situations call for certain things that I think our staff does a tremendous job of communicating during the game of, hey, while I'm calling a player doing this, just somebody in my ear, hey, we might want to think of this. Hey, we might want to think of this. And it doesn't have to be a huge, long production when it comes to conversation. Everybody's just giving everybody tidbits. That's where it's, I think, especially over the year, we got better because we got more comfortable with each other, because you cannot, I don't care what anybody says, you cannot mimic game like under the light situations in practice. You can as much, you can to an extent. You know what I mean? But until that moment and you're going, oh, this is a win or a loss. You know what I mean?
you're right.
That's where you have, like, certain times you can mimic all day long, and you try to make practice as much like a game as possible. But you cannot predict, all right, we can tell them we got no timeouts and we got to go 95 yards in 2 minutes. But until the moment actually occurs, then you see how players and coaches react.
Right. Jonathan, is when you have your defense was on the field for a long time, is there a moment in the game, we had talked earlier about the communication, that maybe Chambers comes up and says, take your time on this drive, give my guys, a break? Or is that?
I mean, not necessarily. It's kind of an unspoken rule, but if we got to get the ball back to go win the game, then obviously it's unspoken that, hey man, we got to go. But no, there's times that I'm going to get on the headset and say, hey man, go after them, because I like to be quote unquote ballsy on defense. Go get them here and try to trust our guys on the back end. But nothing as far as that. I've told him from day one, I'm going to trust you in the game plan. Obviously, I'm going to be on the headset, but if I want a certain call, I'll call it for you. But that may have happened one time, and that was in the Asheville game, where I trust him as my defense coordinator to put together the best game plan. Obviously, I'm involved in that, but I'm not going to overstep and let him feel like he cannot do his job.
Right.
It is not what we do. It's not what I do. It's not what our administration does to us. And that's not what I'm going to do to our coaches. Everybody does their role very well. And I'm a believer of if you step on, like for me, if I step on his toes trying to call a game, I'm hindering him and our team. So those are kind of unspoken situations, is I guess what I'm getting at for the long answer.
Right. What was it like in that final 2 minutes, scoring 3 touchdowns? You're on the headsets. What are the conversations, or what is being?
None. Everybody knows what we're doing.
Right.
And that's where I told the guys early on, and it was just one of those that I knew we were going to have to go quick. So instead of me calling the play and getting it signaled in, I just said, guys, it's on me tonight. I'm just going to signal. I'll say the play so everybody can hear it as I'm signaling, because we had to go quicker than normal because we needed to come back. Those last 2 minutes, the hardest part was getting the guys on the sideline to not run on the field to celebrate after a touchdown. I mean, serious, because everybody on offense knew what we were going to do. Everybody on defense knew if you got the ball back for us, we were going to go score. And I told them all night, guys, they cannot stop what we do. We just got to execute our game plan. So everybody on offense stayed calm. Jed knew what we were going to do. Jed knew exactly what we wanted to do offensively. And then, like I said, Bridger, we had him out in routes early on, and then later on, we just kept him in protection to make sure we could get the ball off. And for him to just, he didn't, at a certain point, he knew not, you don't even need to look. I'm just going to find the guy I need to protect, and I'm going to protect. That's where we're at as a team at the moment, is everybody understood what we wanted to do and did it. And so those last 3 to 5 minutes, the funny part is, everybody, you look, if you go watch the film, you go, oh, it looked hectic. Only ones that were being hectic were the guys celebrating for their guys on the field. Everybody else came on the field and was like, all right, let's get the ball back. Christopher Wells was like, all right, I got this kick. He kicked phenomenal. And here, by the way, let me just say this. If you got to kick 3 in a row onside kicks and you know what's coming, right? No, I'm being like, and for him to put it in the exact spot we need every time. Statistically speaking, onside kicks are super low percentage. And actually had a chance on, we got one. The other two were, they made a great play, and the other one we kind of had a chance too. Like he kicked the crap out of the ball last night in that sense. The extra point to go down by 7 with 59 seconds to go. They jumped over the line and got near, and Jonas did a great job getting the snap down, and you could tell he just said, oh my, I just got to kick it. And for him to have the leg strength to get it with the adversity that he had, he's getting better. He's gotten better each week. So that's, like I said, that's the funny part is the only quote unquote freaking out was guys celebrating for their teammates that were on defense or the guys on the sideline when the offense was on the field or vice versa.
So, again, we'll probably go back into the CIA thing for a minute. When do you transition into
off season's Monday?
Okay,
so I'm not being funny.
Okay.
Off season's Monday. In my mind, and we're I know guys play sports, but for me, for our coaches, and the reason why is now we get a full year, we get a full off season. We're excited about it. Unfortunately, it's this early, but hey, it's part of it. Only one team in 3A gets to end the year with a happy face.
Right. What does that off season entail for you and the coaches and the players? What does that mean?
I mean, you can't really say what it is because it's an off season, but obviously going back and self-scouting ourselves, making sure the players, our weight room regiment will change now from in season to out of season. Depending on if they're another sport, play another sport or not, depends on what we do after school with them. As far as just, can't make them stay, but if you want to stay, we're here. We'll get workouts in. We'll be able to do footwork. We'll get. I already know Bo will get himself a little crew of guys to start going to throw, those things, and then also for the guys that are going to get to go play college football, we'll have after school workouts because because they're graduating doesn't mean they're done. So it's not really just like a specific, A to Z. It's like a game again. Everything changes, depends on how their bodies are physically that week. So is it more mental stuff that week or is it more physical stuff? It all depends, but we have a plan in place. But for us, it starts on Monday.
And like, I think one of the things that I'm curious about is like, in your thing is, do you go back and do what you did like you did in college and in the pros? Do you go back and you're going to watch every single game and break down those games?
We'll self-scout, but that's stuff that
I'm talking about you.
I know that.
Yeah.
I know, but like I said, we'll self-scout. I'm not, obviously our offense will evolve from this year to next year. So we'll watch the tape as needed, but that will happen over the whole. You don't do that in a week.
No.
So that'll be done over the winter and the spring and the summer. Getting ready for next year, building the system for next year. Because good thing is, players and coaches have seen our system is never ending. Football is a never ending evolution. It'll evolve for next year. We'll find out what we do well this offseason and we'll build it for next year. So that's the best part is it's hard to scheme for our stuff only because we're just evolving all the time.
Is-
And our players have learned that.
Is it me? But you seem to have this giddiness about off season starts Monday.
Well, it's fun because we finally get a chance to have film sessions on our off day of lifting that week. Though it's different. I mean, I'm a football coach. That's what I've done since I was 7. It's fun for me.
Gym rat.
So, we'll go. Can't Rome wasn't built in a day, right? We can't go get. July doesn't happen tomorrow, so just got to understand and be patient and go with the grind. We got to, you don't go from squatting 225 to 425 in a day,
Right.
or anything like that. So we know we got to be patient, but also press at the same time. There's a fine line.
And Mr. Williamson is on his way to Ohio to deer hunt. He's listening to us, and go get you a 10-point up there. And he made sure that we knew that he wasn't going to miss today.
Wait a minute, Mr. Williamson. They have tainted deer in Ohio. Don't go to Ohio. Go to Michigan.
Guy.
Oh,
Michigan guy.
You must be spying on him.
Well, I'm a surveillance specialist. Although I know that you can have a surveillance specialist on your staff, Jonathan. One just came available as of yesterday. I kid.
You can't help yourself.
So here on the Tuscola Football Network, here's how we're going to do this. The David and Chuck Show will continue on Tuesdays and Thursdays as always, except for this week. Janet and I are leaving for our 40th wedding anniversary, and we're leaving Tuesday, and we'll be back on the 17th, and then we'll pick right up. And by then, we'll be deep into the college football playoff stuff, getting ready for that. And Jonathan's going to be with us. It won't be the Jonathan Crompton show. There is an awards show that we are going to have, but we'll talk about that on the David and Chuck show. We got something really special that we're gonna from the Tuscola Football Network that we're going to present and have an annual award for someone on the football team. But we're going to talk details about that when the first show after we get back from our soiree. But I want to say this. One of the things that is, you are what your record says you are, but sometimes there are other things. I know what the record says, that this is a good football team. Mm-hmm. You were the only game that this football team wasn't in. And again, I got it, and I'm not an excuse maker, and I know there is no such thing as moral victories, but you got to kind of put Franklin over here a little bit. But the only game that you looked at, you went, wow, they're really better than us at that point, was West Henderson. They're good, and I think they laid the wood to my alma mater last night, and that's how you grow. But I want to tell you, Chuck, I never envisioned that Jonathan would, when he said this, the first thing that we said when he was away from us was, this is going to be difficult, because sometimes Jonathan doesn't want to talk a whole lot about things, but this was his idea.
Right.
But I admire the fact that you let everybody know kind of that you're not going to talk the details of the X's and O's, but to open up your program for everybody to see inside the walls that this is more than just IROT 32 dive. That these are young,
a lot more than that.
But these are young kids that and that it's what you guys are building is more than just the scoreboard. Mm-hmm. And every day's not a good day. Every day's not a bad day. And you've let everybody inside. And I hope that, and I'm looking forward to the future. and I want to thank you two for the Jonathan Crompton show. Chuck and I aren't going anywhere with the David and Chuck show, but for this show, and you're going to be part of our stuff as we go forward, especially with the college football playoffs coming, because I'm going to be right and you two are going to be wrong, and that's just the way it is.
Well, if history repeats itself, y'all two are normally wrong.
Oh my God!
Hold on, I'm not.
here we go.
I'm just calling it like it is.
Here we go.
No. If history repeats itself, y'all two pick off of emotion.
Oh.
No. Hold on. I actually analyze the game.
Oh my God!
Okay, hey, don't shoot the messenger.
And we're gonna have
messenger.
great guests. One of the things that I really want to do, and we're going to do as the David and Chuck show goes, and the off season progresses, I am going to have these seniors on, one or two at a time, because I want people to know them, because I think what they have done
They've laid that foundation.
is
They've laid the foundation.
we're going to have guests on throughout the year. Part of the program, we're going to have our principal back on to talk about other sports but academically, and the foundation that he and all of you guys are building to get this ship in the right direction.
Well, I'm going to tell you real quick. Well, one, we need to go support all the other sports,
yes.
Obviously. But when it comes to baseball season, Zach Shepard, I know you'll be watching this. Get your mind right, because I am there talking smack to you all day. All day. For no reason. There's no other reason besides I like baseball and I want to, because Zach's my buddy and it's fun.
And we're going to have people that throughout the year, we're going to have alum on that played here, that understand that the T is bigger than me. We're going to work really hard on some other things that Chuck and I and some people in the community that support this program. There's going to be some changes in some other areas, and we're going to make it elite. It is going to be elite, and that's what I'm going to say about that. And then I'm going to throw it over to you, Chuck. But for you to thank you, Chuck, man, I appreciate the fact that you ask the tough questions, and it's good to be uncomfortable sometimes.
Who's uncomfortable?
What is that sign you have in the locker room?
I don't get uncomfortable.
What is that you put in the locker room?
Be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
So that's what I'm getting at. That's football. We're good.
But I appreciate everything.
Hey, because here's the best part. Chuck, ask all you want, but here's the one thing. No. You get and you know what I'm saying with this. You get taught, and this is how you go about it as a coach. Who controls the outcome? Who controls the outcome? The person answering the question.
Right.
Who controls the outcome? Outside, obviously, referees and all that stuff, blah, 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 and catching the ball or running the blocking. But who controls the outcome of the game? The coach. Because I'm comfortable. That's the best part. So I love that you asked the questions, but the bottom line is the person answering the question controls the outcome of said question if they want to. Same thing in coaching. I control the outcome as far as offensively because I'm the one calling the play. So I control that part of it. Does that make sense? Like that's where it's
but this has been fun.
Oh, it has been. I'm just giving you another explanation.
I've been at this a long time, asking tough questions, and
Chuck has made his match.
Because it goes back to the Lane Kiffin in his first game against UCLA, and then the knuckleheads in the Tennessee media were asking questions, blaming you, and he said, "Wait a minute, Jonathan Crompton was the one that got us down there in the final seconds of the game inside the 4, and we called 4 run plays. I called 4 run plays, and he was to execute that, not audible. I'm the one that called 4 run plays." And so that was a question I asked was, when, the defense giving up those points, when is the people going to stop blaming the quarterback who doesn't play defense?
They never will.
In a room.
But here's the thing. That's where it talks about being when you're the head coach or the offensive coordinator or whatever, it's your job to protect your players, especially in the public eye. You can correct behind closed doors. It's my job. Like I've told our kids, it's my job to protect them emotionally, physically, and in the public eye. I'm okay with that. Bash me for play calls.
Right.
And it's whatever. You're gonna, as I always say, you hear the concern in my voice, right? And I say that meaning I'm gonna protect our guys regardless.
Right.
It's that simple. It's a bad play call. I'm good with that.
And I think
that type of stuff.
But
here's the thing, though. Our players see that.
Yeah,
it's not just words that they at the beginning. Like I told them, guys, everything I say is just words to you right now. I get it. You'll eventually see it's more than words, and they've seen that. I can hardly speak at the beginning of the show because if you're not calling it fairly, by God, you're gonna know about it. I'm gonna let you know. It's my job to protect my players. If you're high low on our guy and you can't legally do that, by God, I'm gonna go crazy until you listen to me because that's a safety issue. You can't do that. Those things. They've seen that I'm gonna protect them, and not just me, but our staff. So there was a few times that I was close to getting thrown out this year. But why? No, why? Why? Because I'm gonna protect my guys.
Well, I think a lot of that goes back to the lessons that you learned from folks that surrounded you.
I have to go.
Yeah, but anyways, Chuck, I'm going to kind of throw this part over to you and Jonathan, and because I've said my thank yous to you too, and then I'll throw this part to you and Jonathan to get us out of here today.
Well, I mean, to close, first of all, Orchard Coffee, Crompton Auto Mart, and Sons, congratulations. We thank you very much for being a part of this. And we ask all Tuscola fans to patronage, these businesses. Go buy a car, go get some antiques, and go get some coffee because these people helped us bring the show to you. And to Jonathan, I think this is a successful season, and the reason why I say it's a successful season is based on the final 2 minutes of that game last night. That is where your guys are at. That ought to make you excited for the 2024 season.
Yeah, and Ms. Kruger just wrote in here. She's very right. Thank you all the churches that sponsored our pregame meals and devotions, and specifically to Lake Junaluska Baptist for our pregame meal for the playoff game. That goes a long way that people don't realize behind closed doors.
Team up
for home and away games, but personally, I just want to thank everybody for what I call riding the wave, because it's an emotional game, highs and lows, but the wave's the fun part. That's what I tell the guys. Just let me be the emotional one. Y'all just ride the wave. Enjoy the ride, because you can't predict the next play. You can't predict the next day or the next week. We never know. That's where it's been fun for me. So thank you to the fans, the parents, but more importantly, the players for buying into what we do. I mean, it's never easy with the coaching change. Trust me, I get it. But it's sure as crap never easy to coach and change. And by the way, in 3 weeks we got spring practice, and here's the system. But for every player, eventually, finally getting to open up and be themselves. That was what was fun for me. Their personalities coming out and being their like genuine self, not putting on a front because coach is around. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. That's where I enjoyed the crap out of it. But long story short, we're just getting started, and that's where it's fun.
Can I offer a suggestion? Just one, and then I'm done.
Yes, because I got a radio show in 1 minute.
Okay. Next year, take Waynesville's finest from the police department, and like they do in college, when you go over to shake the hand after a win, you're escorted by 2 police officers all the way, and they're holding up their hand. Here he is, and go shake that hand. Would you do that?
All right, I got to answer this phone call.
Okay. I'll see you.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Chuck and I will be back as soon as Janet and I get back from our 40th anniversary. Chuck, love you, man. This has been a special, special thing. And thank you to everybody. We'll see you guys later on. Go Mountaineers.